In this day two or part two of this mentorship call for this month, I want to look at what I title From Meaning or From Purpose to Mastery to Money. But I prefer to use meaning instead of purpose so that it's a nice title, right? So meaning, mastery, money, three M's. But meaning can mean purpose, all right? So I want to look at that today. How to go from meaning to mastery to money. And I think that if you are going to live a happy, fulfilled life, one thing you have to know how to do is how to go from meaning to mastery to money, how to go from purpose to mastery to prosperity. That's another way to look at it. How to go from purpose to competence to profitability, right? It's another way to look at this. And this is something that I have taught privately many times to a few groups of people and in consulting sessions. And I strongly believe that it is one thing that as a people, as an individual, you should know how to do. I don't always say that I don't think many people in this life have had the privilege to live their purpose and in the process they are getting paid, right? And it is such a blessing. It's such a beautiful, beautiful experience to have. I remember a time some few years ago, um, the US government, hired me. There's a project they're doing across Africa, and they hired me to be an expert consultant into that. And they took me to, I always say that is one of my best experience, right? It's not about the work I did was incredible, but it took me to this country and I lived in that in a five-star hotel uh, um for 3 weeks, I think. And my job was to just wake up and go train. After that, they paid me a good amount of money. That's one of the highest amounts of money I made from training. Thousands of dollars in Cameroon money was millions of francs CFA. And I was like, literally, I was just because I was the topics that they gave me, there are things I can teach about, speak about out of sleep without even taking my notes anymore, right? Because I'm always, every day, I'm always learning, I'm always consuming something, so it's like life per se. And that experience, like, living purpose, doing what you love to do, you're not getting angry that it's a new day. Personally for me, there are sometimes I don't know when it's Saturday and when it's Sunday, except I remember, oh, I need to go to church. Because every day is just like the same. It's not as if Monday is bringing some headache and then every day is just the same. And it's just the beauty of being able to live purpose and not just live purpose, but purpose in a way that it is. Like I always tell people, there are two things that should be in your purpose: impact for other people, and that purpose should feed you. There is no purpose God gave any human being that purpose, if you say you have found purpose, that purpose should give you two things: posterity and prosperity, impact to other people, and income in the process. There are people who say that I've met many young people like that. They're running a foundation, a non-profit, and they are not making money for many. Like, this is my purpose. So people have this perspective as if because you have found your purpose, all you need to do is to suffer and help other people, and then you suffer in the process. That's not purposeful. If your purpose is not creating impact for other people and making you prosperous in the process, so you can even create more impact, I don't think you have found your purpose. or you have found it and you don't understand the business part of your purpose. Many people understand the impact dimension of their purpose, but they don't understand the business part of their purpose. And I think one of the best things that you can build capacity around as an individual at any age of your life is to understand, what is my meaning? What mastery can I build around this meaning? And how can I monetize this meaning? You see that? And I just want to show you a very simple system that anybody who is serious and committed can practice and convert that into what I'm talking about. Let me ask another question that I did before we started recording. If you're here and you know you have truly found your purpose, and that purpose you are not making money out of that purpose at all, and you're doing something around that purpose already, type me in the chat box. It's not just something theory. You have started doing maybe small projects around the purpose, but that purpose is not generating income for you. Type me in the chat box. Let me see that size here. Okay. Okay, because I have also met many people who talk about a farmer purpose, and let's say those who are like workers, where they try to take part of their salary to fund their purpose. And many of them that I've spoken to, they get to be very, very weary. They get to be very, very, they feel as if, you know, they're suffering, they're trying to do this and all of that. Why? Because they're trying to take the little that they have to do life with, and because of the burning passion inside of them, they try to take from what they have, which is little, to serve people that they are called to serve. And when you see somebody living like that, the challenge is ignorance. The challenge is they have not paid the price to do the second thing in this framework I'm going to teach you. That's why the framework is from meaning to mastery to money. There are some things in the mastery level that they have not understood. And instead of their purpose being a blessing to them, their purpose has become a burden. If you're here and there's something that is burning inside of you, and in trying to execute it, it has instead become a burden to you, type me in the chat box. It's a burden to you instead. But I'm supposed to be doing this. You have passion for it, but it has become instead a burden to you, instead of being a blessing to you and to other people. You see that, right? So the issue here is not that purpose. It's not it. The issue here is not even you. The issue there is there is there is there is a level of ignorance that you're operating in, that it is contributing in making that purpose to be a burden to you and not a blessing to you. And you see, I can say this from experience because I was there several years ago, right? There was a time in in Kumbu at the time when I would travel to go, speak in villages. I would travel to go speak in churches across different cities, small cities and towns, and all of that. And what used to happen was that sometimes I could not afford, you see, to pay an Okada man to pay, because most of the villages, vehicles were not going there every day. There are many villages that vehicles used to go there just kind of um, once once a week per se, right? For those who are non-Cameroonians, but I'm sure in your country you have villages like that, right? So I want to show you guys a picture, right? So that This is a collage. I could not see the original picture quickly. But you see, this is, can you see? All right. Why did it delay to show like that? Okay. So the picture on my left, I think that should be on your right. That is me going to speak in villages. I went in that particular picture to train some women, and what they did not give me money. You see that's a bag of potatoes. That's what they paid me with. That's what they could give me, right? But that's a young guy that was so passionate about training people, training young people from villages and all of that, and something which was my purpose and which was supposed to be a blessing to me and to other people was a burden. This guy, his name is Fonyoy, and I'm still. And, oh, that reminds me. I need to reach out to somebody back in Congo to get me this guy, because this was a guy that he can testify that he took me to many villages. And there were some days that I would just tell him, look, I don't have money to pay you right now, but we need to go here. And he would just carry me and we go there before I pay him a few days after. I could not even afford my own transportation, which for those who are non-Cameroonians, on average, sometimes it's just like $10. $10 is so much money at the time, and in Cameroon when you convert it, sometimes it's just $20, right? But I could not pay this guy. But I had the passion, I knew the purpose, but it was still a burden to me. I know that there are seasons that you know it can be a burden, but if you don't understand certain things, that burden can stay longer. You can carry that burden for 10 years or 15 years. And that's where it gets wrong, right? And now, this is the same person who is traveling nations. Like I always say, the same thing I was doing in villages and going to those villages using what they call Okada or commercial motorbike riding is the same thing I do when I travel to nations and they pay my flight ticket and the things that they do. It's the same thing basically. The difference now is you know understanding the business, understanding what I was doing, and trying it a few different things, and not just doing the same thing every day without trying to adapt, trying to improve. That is what changed, right? So, a young guy here struggling to do what I was trying to do, the meaning was there. But under mastery, something was missing. And because something was missing under mastery, the money part had an issue at the time, right? And every human being has purpose. Okay. So today I want us to look at how to go from meaning to mastery to money, or from purpose to mastery to prosperity or to profitability. But I prefer meaning, mastery, and money because it's a nicer title. Right. And the purpose of this is just to show you how you can begin to bring some things together. Like I said, it's a simple strategy that if you just pay the price and work on it, it can be a blessing to you. Because there are many people right now that you are minimizing your purpose. You have no idea how wide. You have no idea how. See, there is no small purpose. People have no idea how purpose can change their lives. People have no idea. Your job can fit in your purpose a million times. I'm telling you, if you just know what to do with it. And that's why I was talking to some young guys and I said, look, one thing that they have to learn to do in life, they're much younger than me. I think they were like in their early 20s or so. And I was saying, look, one thing you need to learn how to do in life, but this is the same thing that matches up to anybody at any age, right? Which is learn to push your boundaries. Just learn to push your boundaries. Learn to claim your destiny. Learn to make up your mind. It doesn't matter my background. It doesn't matter the pain I am in right now. It doesn't matter my current difficulties. I will leave. I will live the fullness of my destiny. Claim it. Make up your mind. Right? It's a decision. It's a decision. I'm going to push my boundaries every day. I'm going to live the fullness of my destiny. I'm going to challenge my limits. I'm going to ignite meaningful impact in my generation. I'm going to win big. I'm not going to own this smallness. I'm going to win big. I'm going to prosper with confidence. Make a decision to leave these things I'm telling you. Because, see, if you're if there are some things in your life that you have not made a very, very strong decision, like it has gone even beyond decision making to being convictions that you live by. Let it become convictions to you. Because many people, you see, I have been exposed to many human beings, right? And there are many people that when I'm talking to them, I just this one, she has not made up her mind. The way somebody talks to you, you can weigh their convictions in life. You can weigh how much they are willing to go, how far they are willing to go to make it. You can perceive it. You can sense it. If I talk to a lady, if I talk to a guy who has sat with himself, with herself, and that lady has made up her mind, I don't care what life throw at me. I will push every boundary. I will challenge every limit, and I will live the fullness of this life. If I talk to a human being who has made up that decision, I will know. I will know. And sadly, I have spoken to many human beings in this life. Very few of them have reached that level of spirituality where they've come to a place in their life. It doesn't matter my past. It doesn't matter if I was maltreated. It doesn't matter if I was born out of wedlock. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter. Every challenge, every limit, there is only one way out. I will push every boundary. I will challenge every limit, and I will live the fullness of my destiny. But guess what? When you talk to average human beings, they will sit you down and begin to outline the challenges they're going through and where they're coming from. You will not hear where they're going to. That is a person you have not made up your mind to live the fullness of your destiny. Because when we talk, see, purpose is serious business. Oh, it's very serious business. It is very important. You cannot live your purpose being average in your convictions. No, you cannot. You cannot. You cannot. Purpose fulfillment is for rugged human beings. Purpose fulfillment is for a lady who has 4 kids and a husband, and she makes up her mind, these are going to be a blessing to me and not a limitation. I'm going to push the boundaries of motherhood. I'm going to push the boundaries of being a wife, and I'm going to live the fullness of my destiny. Now, that is a woman who will live her destiny. You see that? And this is a kind of mentality, this is the kind of consciousness, convictions that we are supposed to have if we are going to go through this process of from meaning to mastery to money. We have to pay the price to live that. And guess what? God has designed humanity or the world. There's the law of seed time and harvest time. That law works for every human being, whether you're a Christian or not. Whatever you sow, you're going to harvest. Right? And We need to begin to pay the price to begin to understand these things. Now, to go from meaning to mastery and to money, of course, we have to, you know, start from the first step, which is discover your purpose. And I'm going to spend some time here for a reason. So I'm going to show you a 6-step process to follow. It's a basic 6-step process that if you take these steps and put it down on a book and begin to work on it, make up your mind that, okay, you know what? So Dr. Jabed is saying that if I follow these 6 steps, I can produce these results. You just make up your mind to begin to apply these 6 steps. You're going to start seeing changes. And in your own journey, you can add the 7th step, depending on what you're building and what you're learning and what you're experiencing, right? So the 6-step process on how to go from meaning to mastery to money. Number one, of course, is step 1 is discover your purpose. But I'm going to say a few things around purpose that sometimes I hardly hear people talk about it. And this is as a result of I have read extensively around this purpose thing. And some of the smartest people who have spoken about purpose the right way, which I agree with, are people like Miles Monroe, Mike Murdoch, and John C. Maxwell. And I'm going to share a few thoughts from these great fathers in the business and in the industry that for those of you who already know your purpose and for those who are still in the process of figuring it out, I think this is going to help you. If you're somebody who consumes the material of Miles Monroe, one of the things that he consistently advocated was that he defined purpose as the original intent of the creator. That was his definition of purpose. What is the original intent of the creator? For example, the person who created, let me say, this microphone I'm using, the person had intentions. There is an original intention for this microphone. And the intention is that this microphone should be able to amplify my voice and enable you to hear clearly what I am communicating. So you want to understand the purpose of this microphone, study the intent of the creator. So he kept on saying that purpose is the original intent in the mind of the creator that motivated the creator to create a product. That's purpose. And you see, as human beings, we came from a creator. That's why every single human being, you have your own unique purpose. When God was creating you, he had an original intent in his mind. And that intent motivated him to create you and send you on earth in such a time as this. You see that? And that's why purpose now begin to determine the design of the product. And the design of a product determines the function of the product. It's very important. Purpose determines design, and design determines function. There is a way that God designed me, and I'm functioning because of my design. There are other guys that they are so good with technology, physics, and mathematics. I was terrible at all of those things in secondary school, but I was good at business courses. I was good at accounting, business mathematics, comments, and things like that. You see that? So, purpose determines design. Design determines function. There is a way that you were designed because of your purpose. And there is a way your brain functions because of how you were designed. That's why for you to discover your purpose, you need to go back to your creator. You need to begin to study your design. And the more you understand your design, the more you begin to understand, oh, this is where I am supposed to function. And these are the people I am supposed to serve with my design. You see, that is why purpose is not discovered by, I cannot discover the purpose of this microphone by asking this microphone, you know, what the microphone wants to do. I just need to consult the creator. I just need to read the manual. I just need to go to their website. I just need to go to their YouTube channel and watch, you know, uh, um, the videos that they have done about this particular microphone. You see, that's why, like I always say, believers, Christians are supposed to be the most purposeful people on earth because they know how to pray. They know how to talk to God. So they can consult God. Many people who are unbelievers that are living their purpose, they stumble into their purpose. In the world, in the traditional worldly system, what other speakers teach who are not Christians, they teach about design. Study how you were designed. Then you're going to discover your purpose. That's level two. Level one is talk to your creator. Talk to your creator. He will communicate to you the fullness of your purpose the right way. Beyond you trying to understand your design and trying to guess work your purpose. You see that? That's why, as a believer, as a Christian, my belief around purpose is that any human being's purpose is found in the mind and the will of God. You want to really find your purpose. Your purpose is found in the mind and the will of God. And that's why when you begin to fellowship with Him, you begin to gain access to His mind and His will concerning you. And one thing about purpose is that purpose is foundational. Purpose precedes giftings, assignments, even vision. Why? Because vision comes on purpose. Vision is not supposed to be abstract. Your career vision, your business vision, your marital vision, it's not supposed to be abstract. It's supposed to be from your purpose. Your purpose actually should influence who you marry. That's the truth. That's how powerful purpose is. Purpose is foundational. You see that? So you need to begin to talk to your creator if you're still trying to discover your purpose. And as you're doing that, begin to study your design. That's why one of the most powerful things that psychologists talk about is awareness, right? Just spend time and know yourself more. How do you think? How do you see life? There's a way you think, you see things, you perceive things, you understand things. It's where you were designed that is of advantage to you. Understand your design. Understand how you interpret life. Understand what you effortlessly understand when you read. Understand what you effortlessly do with your hands in terms of vocational skills, per se. Just understand your design. It's very important for you to live your purpose. Mike Murdoch, I was reading one of his books, and in his definition of purpose, he framed purpose around divine assignments and problem solving. And this is related to, Miles Monroe's perspective. Divine assignment and problem solving. He's the one who um, propagated I think he was the one who the phrase, the greatest day of your life is the day you discover why you were born. I think Mike Murdoch is the one who made that um, quotes to go viral, in the last decades. The greatest day of your life is the day you discover why you were born. So, according to Mike Murdoch, your purpose, my purpose is revealed through the problems that disturb you. And that's true. You see, the problems that disturb me are directly related to my purpose. There are some things that sometimes I literally care less about, but it disturbs other people. It's because of the way I was wired by God, and it is because of my purpose. So, for many people, you can begin to understand the intent of God, why He created you and sent you on earth in such a time as this, based on what disturbs you. There are just problems that you see in your immediate neighborhood, in your church, in your community, in your nation, that the problems just naturally aches you. It disturbs you. It worries you. Number two, my mother said that your purpose can be revealed through the people you are drawn to help. You are drawn to help a certain class of people, a certain type of people going through a particular type of problem. You're drawn to that. Right. He also said that your purpose is revealed, and that's where design comes in. Your purpose is revealed through the gift that naturally comes to you. Every human being, there are gifts that naturally come to you. It's natural to you. You see. So that's why he said that your purpose is your divine assignment, which is the specific problem you were created to solve for a specific people. Because you see, we're talking about meaning or purpose to mastery to money. If you don't get the meaning right, you're going to guesswork the mastery. And that's already the beginning of failure, right? You see, if you see somebody living their purpose and they are fully convinced 100% this is what I was sent here on earth to do, that person's level of commitment will be different from somebody who is doing and trying. Will this work? It will not work. Because if you understand the divine potency of purpose, you will know that purpose can never fail. If you are doing something and you say it is your purpose, and in your inner of inner man, you are doubting, will it work? It will not work. Will I break through? I will not break through. Will it bless me? It will not bless me. Will I prosper? I will not prosper. You have not found your purpose. Because when you find your purpose, one thing you understand is that purpose is a spiritual thing. Purpose was created by God. And what is created by God cannot fail. It cannot disappoint. If it disappoints, blame the human being, not the purpose. If you have found your purpose, I guarantee you, believe in it. That purpose can change your life forever if you put in the work. Because purpose is a spiritual thing. Purpose is a divine resource. And a divine resource cannot fail. It cannot. If you put in the work with your own eyes, you will watch it bless you. You will watch it bless the nations. What others minimized, but because you understood the value of that divine resource called purpose, you invested time into it and you converted it into a life-changing platform for you and even for other people. For some of you, regarding this meaning to mastery, to meaning to mastery to money framework, you need to go back to step one and be sure that this is it. This is it. For the next 80 years, for the next 100 years, this I will keep doing. I'll keep doing it. Because there is that certainty, there is that conviction, there is that assurance. It's not normal. If somebody hears you, listen to you talk about it, they will know you have contacted something that is beyond the natural eyes. They will know because purpose is spiritual. It's a spiritual thing. So when you encounter it and it's revealed to you and you catch it and you believe it, when you talk about it, somebody who is spiritual, who sees beyond the surface, they will know you have found it. Because the way you're going to believe in it, let me tell you something. I always say this, and I always find this that I think the Holy Spirit came over me. Let me show you that same picture. Imagine a young guy going to villages and speaking 2000 and, I think it was 2013 or 14, this picture, right? And then I gathered my friends one time and I was teaching them, you know, I was just teaching them some of these things, but not at this level. Of course, I was still growing. I'm still growing, but I was still very basic. And one of my friends, he said, these things you are teaching us doesn't work in this kind of place, in Kumbu, right? That was his belief. And I just burst out and I just said, the same thing I'm teaching you guys and you're ignoring, this same thing will make me travel the world. That was what I said. I didn't even know why I said it. I did not plan to say that. But you see, one thing I know is that I believed in what I was doing. I had absolute conviction in this is what I was called to do. I just replied him there and there. This same thing I'm teaching you and you are ignoring, this same thing will take me around the world. And that was it. But you see, the conditions at the time that I said that were very terrible conditions. I did not have a passport. I had never gone to my country's capital city. I had never gone to Douala, our own New York, right? I was just a village guy per se, raised up in a semi-urban area per se. But I encountered something. The day I encountered this thing, I know about it. When you encounter, because again, purpose is spiritual. Right in the chat box, my purpose is spiritual. If you understand how valuable purpose is, oh my goodness, you will treasure it and you will guard it with so much respect. Right in the chat box, my purpose is spiritual. It's a spiritual thing. It's not a normal thing because the word has been, propagated and is so um basic and everybody talks about it. People see it's one of the most for Christians after salvation, your next most important encounter in your life is your purpose. See, in your purpose is your prosperity. In your purpose is your posterity, is your impact. What catches and put it inside it? You are like Joseph. Joseph's purpose was interpretation of dream. In that one thing he could do, his posterity was inside. Till today, we talk about Joseph, thousands of years after. His prosperity was inside. His influence was inside. His government position was inside that purpose. His wife was inside because of his purpose. He married the princess. Is it a princess now or one of the most people in Egypt at the time? Everything was inside his purpose. See, if you understand how special it is, if you have not found it there, you will sell everything you have to find it. Because if you understand, see, let me tell you, there are many human beings right now suffering in poverty. because they have not sought out their purpose. Their prosperity is inside the purpose they have not found. Your influence is in your purpose. Your desire to travel across different nations. I always foresee, if I did not find what I was doing, there is no way on earth I would have ever left my village, meaning Kumbo, right? There is no way on earth. I always say this, and I can give reason why I always say that. The only thing that took me out of Kumbo was that I found this thing I'm doing. Nothing else. Not family member, not nothing else, not friends, nothing else. There are some people that they leave their village or their country because a family member sponsored them, a friend helped them, which is good, it's a blessing. But what if you come from families like ours that you don't have a family member that is in a bigger city or in a bigger country or things like that? Then you're finished, right? We don't have good friends, per se. You're on your own. There is so much hidden in purpose. See, it's I can show you the pattern from scriptures over and over and over and over and over and over. So if you're here and you have not truly encountered this your purpose, use some of these things I have said and begin to sense it. Your purpose is so important that you can take a 70 days fast. Say, Lord, I will not end this fast until you talk to me about purpose. For some of you, you have found it, but your problem is that you are minimizing it. Your problem is you are trivializing it. Your problem is you have not invested into it. And that's why the purpose is not feeding you back. That's your own problem. That's your own problem. And that needs to change. You see, I read a book by John, uh, um, John C. Maxwell. And I like the way he communicated how purpose is expressed. And I'll talk about it and then we go to step two. John C. Maxwell said, purpose is expressed through number one, growth. And I love that. So he was saying, if you're going to express your purpose, you must desire to grow. You cannot express your purpose if you're not growing. There are many people that they stumbled into their purpose just through personal development. The more they were developing themselves, the more they were growing, they just stumbled into it. Right? He also said that purpose is expressed through adding value. And that's why I always say that your purpose is not for you. Your purpose is for other human beings. Purpose is not selfish. Your purpose is for other human beings. When you begin to serve them, what they give you now, that's what is for you. So John C. Maxwell says that purpose is expressed through adding value. When you identify a group of people to add value to them, you're expressing your purpose. He said purpose is expressed through leadership influence. You're influencing people as a leader, not a position leader per se, but you just know how to use what you have to influence other people. He also said that purpose is expressed by living beyond yourself. You make up your mind, you're going to live beyond yourself. You're going to serve other people. You can start by living beyond yourself by just joining a department in your church. Anywhere you find yourself, you want to serve another human being. You just live beyond yourself. And when you begin to do that, that's where you're going to enter the level of intentional contribution, where you begin to use your growth, you begin to use your influence to add value to other people. So step one, make sure you discover your purpose. Now, step two, which I believe is the heart of this framework. We're talking about from meaning to mastery to money. from purpose to mastery to prosperity or profitability, right? Step two of this framework is, it's the step I believe that is the heart of it after step one. Step one is the beginning of the beginnings. Without step one, which is discover your purpose, every other step is useless, basically. When you get the foundational step right, the next most important step is setting competence mastery goals. Setting competence mastery goals. Now, why is this very important? Because purpose on its own will keep you broke, will become a burden to you, will not impact any human being. That's why I always say that talents and natural giftings cannot pay bills. It is converted talent into a skill that can pay your bills. There are many people, for example, I always talk about the work we do and the work I do. There are many people that are very fluent. There are many people that their own talent is that they're just very, very fluent and articulate. But you see, being fluent does not make you a trainer, a public speaker, a coach. No, it doesn't. But if you pay the price and find an industry, find a sector, let's say business strategy, let's say youth development, let's say mental health, I don't know, but you just find a field and you pay the price to build competence. If you add that competence to your ability to be articulate and fluent, you now have a skill, right? So, what is setting competence mastery goals? It's a simple concept I talk about, which is when you identify your purpose, you know your purpose. One thing that makes your purpose to be a blessing to others and to you is the level of mastery, the level of competence that you have developed around that purpose. And that's why I'm talking about setting mastery goals or competence goals, because you see, building competence is one of the hardest things to go through. Like I always want to say, for many of you, it's 4 a.m. right now to 5 a.m. that you're on this call. For those in North America, you're staying longer than usual to go to bed per se because you have work tomorrow, basically, right? So comfort is more easy. Watching a movie is much easier. But you see, to sit for 1 hour, 30 minutes is hard. Or another one is to begin to study for 4 hours every day when you don't have an exams. The purpose of study is destiny. Very few people study without exams. Very few human beings do that because it's hard. It's boring. That's one funny thing I've discovered about life. Things that will change your life are very boring. Have you noticed that? Anybody notice that? Things that will change your life, very boring things to do. And if you don't pay the price to do them every day, you're going to fail in life. But they are very boring, right? So when you're reading a book or you're praying sometimes, it's as if time is just standing. But just begin to watch a movie. You have no idea where 30 minutes goes to, right? And that's why I'm talking about, when I talk about competence, I like to talk about, you know, goals, where you can set goals. Okay, you make up your mind, okay, based on my purpose, based on the people I'm called to serve, I need to develop competence around these four skills. And I need to become intermediate. I need to become an expert. I need to enter, because when you're developing your skill set around any area, you are either at the junior level, intermediate level, or you are the expert level. So you can set your goals. All right, in 3 months or 4 months, I want to possess knowledge of an intermediate expert in this field. You just set goals, right? And the secret around this framework is pinpoint critical competencies that are demanded by your purpose and the people you're called to serve. Let me say it again. A purposeful person does not develop any kind of skills. You understand your purpose, you understand the people you're called to serve, and you identify critical competencies that are demanded by your purpose, and you pay the price to develop those competencies. And these competencies can be broad. They can be, for example, I am not just, I paid the price, even paid courses to understand how to design curriculums. Not because I was a lecturer or a teacher, no, because I wanted to make sure that I am not just an average speaker. The way I present my content, you know, this is not just an excited motivational guy who just gathers things everywhere and then is talking about, right? There are different competencies I've developed over the years for the purpose of purpose, right? So you need to spend time with yourself. Okay, this is my purpose. I want to do this for the rest of my life. These are the human beings around the world that I'm going to travel to and impact and serve with my purpose. All right, that's good. So, which critical competencies do I need to pay the price and develop so I can manifest the fullness of this purpose? So, you begin to set specific milestones tied to that purpose. Milestones that can enable you to practice continuous advancement towards peak performance regarding your purpose. You see, a group of people I like to just read about are athletes, sports people, those who run marathons, boxers, multi, um, kickboxing, UFC champions, wrestling, because people that do sports, soccer players, I am a Messi fan, but I like Ronaldo. You know why? Because Ronaldo, the way he lived his life and lives his life, his performance is predictable. There are things that he does every day so that his performance can be the way it is. So one thing I like about sports people is that when you see somebody performing at a very high level, it's not guesswork. You cannot guesswork in sport. You cannot. I'm saying you cannot. You see somebody, let's say, who runs marathon. Let's say they're planning to run a marathon in 6 months. They can decide that for the next 6 months, every day for the next 6 months, they're going to run nonstop for 2 hours every day. You see, they set a measurable growth level, a specific milestone to achieve. Why? Because one thing I like about sports people is that they understand that to achieve a certain level of mastery, you need to create a system around you. That's why a sport person have a particular type of food that they eat. They have certain training modalities and routines that they practice every day. They have a particular amount of water they must drink every day. You see that? There are things that they have engineered a routine around so that they can achieve a particular level of mastery to achieve a particular level of result. It's the same for destiny for you and I. It's the same for purpose. Your purpose requires certain competencies to experience breakthroughs. And this is where many people are lacking. This is where many people, purpose seems so, instead of being a blessing to them, it has become a burden to them because all they have is purpose. And then every other thing is guesswork. They're just trying to moon, boss Calabar, the one that works with thank God. Their results are not predictable. You see, but you see, mastery in your life increases, mastery in your life accelerates when you have the right learning intensity and minimal distractions around you. So, what am I recommending? What to practice? Identify your primary purpose, right? Your purpose per se. Number two, I always recommend five. Study your purpose carefully. Study the people you're called to serve and begin to research five skills that if you become good at these five skills can amplify your purpose. Try it. Just list five skills. And you're certain that, all right, if I begin to build capacity around these five skills, they will amplify, my purpose. Let me give an example. In when COVID-19 hit in 2020, one of the things I took courses on was what you can call virtual broadcasting. Because I now anticipated that, look, this is going to change the landscape of the business forever. So that was a skill I understood that I need to. So when I learned how to broadcast using a software on YouTube, on Facebook, there were many of my friends that they learned before me that you can broadcast from Zoom to YouTube and to Facebook. They're like, how do you do that? I learned how to. You need three softwares to do. No, two. Zoom, another one. Then you can now broadcast on that. I learned all of that on my own because I just understood that. Wait a minute, these are things I need to learn. The second is virtual presentation, how to hold attention on a virtual space. It is much easier uh, on a physical space in a conference where you can see people. It's much easier. And I had mastered how to hold, I could deliver for 4 hours in a physical meeting and nobody can sleep. I was so good I'm still good at that, right? But life was about to change because most speaking engagements now were happening virtually. And you could not just go like that. Many people did that. But I said, no, it's a skill I need to get. I need to understand virtual broadcasting. I need to understand virtual presentations. Because those skills in the dispensation we are in, they are critical to my purpose. You see that? It's very important. Start from five. As you begin to grow, you're going to learn more in the process. For those who have money, instead of learning more, they hire people. So the more you're making money, the more you can hire people to do what you would like to do, right? And let me say this before we go to step three. Regarding your purpose, not all skills are equal. Yes, yes. Let me challenge you. One question to also ask yourself as you listen to this is, which skill, if mastered, would multiply my impact the highest? Among the five skills I spoke about, there is one, just one, that if you master at the level you're in right now, it will multiply your impact to a whole new level. There is somebody right now listening to me that if you just master just social media well, it will multiply you to a whole new level. For somebody else, her, her multiplier skills is research. If she could just master how to research well online, it can change her life forever. There are some skills that are multiplier skills. There are multiplier skills. There are skills that they multiply you. If you master them, they will multiply your impact. So step two in this framework is set competency mastery goals. You have to pay the price for competence. And I think you already have that character or that attitude. If not, you will not be registered in a mentorship program. So it is already part of you. You just need to extend it, expand it, and you'll be amazed at what will happen to you. Number three is start designing or thinking about a monetization and financial strategy around your purpose. Sometimes I call it the business part of your purpose. Like start researching and designing a monetization and financial strategy around your purpose. Remember, we're talking about from meaning or purpose to mastery to money. All right. When you have done step one and step two, step three is begin to study the business part of your purpose. There are many of you that you need to take business courses just to understand how business works. And then you begin to contextualize with your purpose. Whether you're passionate about women, young girls, it doesn't matter. As far as it's a group of human beings, there is business in it, there is money in it. I have helped people make money from crazy things. I always say that, are they human beings who want it? I'm going to help you make money. If there are human beings that want it, there's money inside. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is your purpose. If it is purpose, it is for human beings, there's money inside. Even if you want to be comforting those who have lost their loved ones after burial, there's money inside. It doesn't matter, right? So your job under step three is to begin to increase your business augment, to begin to just study your purpose, study the industry, study the human beings you're serving, and begin to identify monetizable opportunities aligned with your industry, your purpose, your expertise, right? You just begin to ensure that how can I convert this into a stable long-term wealth creation? Just begin to study it. The first step in designing a monetization strategy and financial strategy is just study, guys. Just study. Sometimes you can see somebody promoting an entrepreneurship course, and you know that your business augment is non-existent. Just take the course for the sake of your purpose. Just take it. Just take it. That reminds me. For those who need it, I'm going to share a YouTube link to um what is the name of those teachings again? There's a teaching I have on my YouTube playlist, which is I think it's small business courses. Okay, free online business courses. This YouTube link, this playlist has 79 videos on business. If you have zero business augment, I mean zero business knowledge or limited business knowledge, there are 79 courses on this link I have shared in the chat box. It will give you, it's like a business school. 79 courses on different business topics that I've taught. For any human being, and you don't need a PhD to understand what I've taught in those courses. Just sit on it. If you're like, you know what, I think I'm missing the business part of what I'm doing. I don't have the right business foundation as far as I am as a human being. Just sit on that playlist. Watch one after another. Before you get to the 20th video, your level of business understanding. You see, my wife is not, my wife read law, women empowerment, social work, and things like that to master's level and all of that. She's not a business-minded person like me, right? But she had the privilege to sit like this beside me while I'm teaching many business courses. So many a times her friends will try to start a business or do something, and they'll be asking, she'll be giving them advice, and she'll be saying word for word the things you have heard me say. And it helps them, right? So for somebody who has zero background in business who can do that, I think any human being can do that, right? So sit on it. It will help you. They're all free. Sit on it, it will help you, and you don't need to. And before you know it, you begin to see any human being who has business knowledge, they always see opportunities. Put them anywhere. Put them in South Sudan. Put them anywhere. See, a business-minded person can never be stranded financially because there's a way that they see things with their business-mindedness. When others are complaining of, oh, this country is so difficult, or this is so difficult, they will see something to sell. They will see something to monetize. Why? Because they have something inside of them that identify monetizable opportunities. All right. And I see somebody who has the right business knowledge will hardly ask questions like, what can I do is a good question. But you see, somebody who has a business mind will not just ask, what can I do? They'll ask something like, hmm, where does what I know intersect with the needs of the people? That's a business mind talking. Because you don't make money from thin air. They're like, no, where does what I know intersect with problems, with the needs of these people? That's a business mind talking. If I go somewhere, that's what I will do. Okay, where does what I know, where does what I have intersect with this community? You begin to study. You begin to study. Before you know it, your mind will start identifying monetizable opportunities. Not just what can I do? What can I do? You're looking for a way to apply for jobs. Nothing wrong with that. But it's better to go further. So you know what? There are many of you. You can just start from, you know what? I can cook. Oh. Let's say you're an immigrant from Africa. You can cook your local food. Wait, can my I can prepare local dishes. How can I get the news around other Africans from my country, you know, to buy the food I'm preparing for them? Because you're asking, where does what I know intersect with the needs or the problems of people or even institutions? Some of you have first degree, you have master's degree. You know things. You know things. Some of you just know practical things with your hands, and you can be minimizing it, and you have no idea that that thing is $1 million, million francs, naira, rand business that you have. Why? Because money sits at the intersection of your competence and urgency. That's where money sits. Money sits at the intersection of competence and needs. That's why when you begin to ask, where does what I know, where does what I have intersect with the urgency, the problems, or the pain, or the issues, or the needs that these people have? You begin to design your financial strategy. You begin to design your monetization strategy. You just begin to think broadly. But you see, the strength of for example, like I always say, if I sit with any human being, if you know how to do anything, I can produce at least 5 ways to make money from what you know how to do. I can do that because of I have read business all my life, basically. Right? So the more business augments, so I believe that any human being, it doesn't matter what you do, just try to know some business stuff. Just try to read business books once in a while. Just try to watch business trainings once in a while. There's a way it makes you to think, even for your life, even for basic life situations. Somebody who has business mindset and business augment, there's a way they see life than other people. They hardly just give up easily because they know that opportunities can come up at any time. It's the way they look at life because of that augment that they have. All right. So just sit on that. It will be a blessing to you. So the fourth thing that you need to do to go from meaning to mastery to money is consistent execution. And this is where many people fail. And many people fail here because I call it the spiritual law of building things, the spiritual law of entrepreneurship. It's as if God created a law and just hid it somewhere in humanity and says that it doesn't matter what you start. Your first 4 years will be difficult. Your first 7 years will be challenging. Have you noticed that? Those are certain things. Have you noticed that it doesn't matter what you do in the first few months and first few years, there's a level of breakthrough you will not enter. Have you noticed that? It's as if there's a law of time. You have to pay the price of covering some years. Hmm? You must cover the for some people it's their first 4 years before their biggest breakthrough or their big breakthrough. For some people it's 5 years. Some people it's 7 years. But there are just some years that you must have to cover. It is it, I have read so many stories of business startups. If you see a human being who starts something and it just blossoms, either they have had so much experience at starting things and they have paid that price somewhere that they just know exactly what to do and begin to break through at certain levels. But majority of the human beings, if you don't have the patience hmm, to execute consistently until the big things start happening, you will find it difficult to jump from mastery to prosperity. You just need to understand how to show up consistently. Create daily action blocks that you just dedicate to particular task. Reduce distractions. Just maximize focus and produce the results. You see, you just have to keep on going. I always tell people that look, you are not permitted to say, I want to stop if you have not clocked 7 years at that thing. That's my number. And I've seen it work for many people. I always said when somebody start complaining to me about what they're building and they're struggling, I'll ask them, how long have you been doing it? If I don't hear 7 years plus, I'll say, relax, my friend, relax. You have not just focus on what you're doing. Just make sure that you're learning. Make sure you're adapting. Make sure you're improving. Stay on it. If after the 7th year and some good things have not started happening, but guess what? I have learned that if you stay on it and that's what you want to do and you're learning, that's why I started calling it the spiritual law of time and building. By some means, boom, something just happens for you. It's as if God said that some good things only happen to people that stay consistent for a particular number of years. There's no way around it. I wish there was. There's no way around it. And that's also the years that you learn. And I think that 7 years or that 6 years or 5 years, depending on what you're building, that some good things begin to happen to you. It's also because the experience you have gathered over the years, you begin to know how to do some things precisely that become a blessing to what you're building. So just pay the price and execute consistently. As you're executing, track your progress daily. Adjust your approach. Learn. Take a course. Buy a book. Pay a coach. It's questions. Let's just make sure that in your in those early days of startup and building, don't just you know repeat the same thing and expect different results. as we're executing consistently. And it's the same for scaling. It's the same for going big. That execution consistently must be there. And that's where step 5 now comes in. Constant review and adjustment. Your purpose, as you are building your purpose, you need to have that mindset of constant review and adjustment, right? Where you have just, you can set a time for some people. For those I was building, I always recommend every week. At the end of the week, just reflect on the things that you did, analyze some setbacks, refine your strategies. Because in your building days, you don't you need to have very close up timelines. When if others are doing reviews after 1 month, you need to do it every week. When you're identifying, okay, what are recurrent obstacles in this purpose thing, in what I'm building? How can I eliminate these obstacles? How can I redesign my processes to do better? How can I acquire new resources or new skills to do better? Or you know what? Who can I talk to externally? Can I have a one-on-one with my mentor and ask questions? Can I pay a coach or a more experienced person in the same industry to ask questions? Can I attend industry conference to just hear what other experts are saying? You're constantly reviewing and adjusting because your purpose is too big. Mastery doesn't happen overnight. That's why the review and the adjustment is important. Your financial strategy or your monetization plan will not be perfect in 1 month. You see that? So you need that system around you where you're constantly reviewing, adjusting, correcting, redesigning, and you do that on a daily basis. And anybody who does this always experience a consistent rise. And then in step 6, this is where scaling now happens. Scaling means you go big because nobody starts and go big overnight. You're going to make mistakes when you just started. But your purpose can scale to nations. Yes. Your purpose can scale to different continents. Your purpose can scale to Asia, to Australia, to North America, to Europe, to Middle East, to other African countries. Your purpose can scale to more nations. Some of you right now, your best way to scale based on what you're doing is just master how to scale using the digital platforms. But you can scale. Your purpose was meant for the nations, not just for your local community. But you see, sometimes to enter the scaling stage can take you 8 years. I did not start and I scaled to nations the same year. No, it took me what? My first trip was after 6, 7 years. My first trip out of Cameroon per se. So nobody scales at the first few years of building. That's why scaling comes last per se in this process at the moment. Because you only scale what works. You only scale what you have validated. You see that? You only begin to expand your reach through partnerships, through alliances, through networking events, through whatever means you want to use. You only scale what is working. You only one way to scale is you begin to reinvest a portion of your earnings or money into more education, into more talent, into more market research, into more innovations, so you can do bigger things at a higher level. But you see, that's why scaling for many people is easier, because scaling is you are just doing the same thing you used to do, but at a bigger level, with more resources, with more human beings, with more machines, with more equipment, in more locations. You just scale it and it works, right? For example, when I did my first date with success out of Africa, when I held an event in Dubai in 2022, I think, that was the 8th edition of that event I used to do every year. That was the 8th edition I did in Dubai. So I was scaling what works already. what I've done across Cameroon, across other African countries. So it was easier to do it at that scale because I knew what I was doing. I had mastered marketing, promotion, different things. And the results were good for being the first international events out of the continent of Africa. There were some things that I was not trying to figure out. Oh, how do I know? I already knew what to do per se. And I had been invited to other countries to also speak. So I had seen how they did their own stuff. So it was easier for me to scale, at that level at the time. But you see, what I'm saying is that your purpose can scale beyond your village. Your purpose can scale beyond your church. Your purpose can scale beyond your friends who even don't believe in what you're doing. Right? Your purpose can scale beyond your country. For somebody, you need to scale through, just media. Just start going on local radios, national TV, podcast, whatever you're doing. And because you have done some groundwork behind the scenes, you can boldly go on media with confidence because you know what you're going to say and what you're going to do. You're scaling it. The purpose of scale in this framework is that don't treat your purpose as something local. Your purpose is not local. Your purpose can go global. Your purpose can be continental. So it doesn't matter at what level you are, make sure that at the back of your mind, someday I'm going to scale this thing to other nations, to other cities, to other continents. I'm going to partner with this and this and this and do it bigger. And you'll be amazed at what you can do. All right, people, that is it.